Welcome to the Holistic Success Show. I'm Elizabeth Capoletti.
And I'm Dr. Robert Puff. Today our guest is an expert on recovery.
Dr. Puff is going to be talking to us about how to be happy with what is, and he'll also be talking to us about prevention.
And a question from you about how do I heal well?
Our other question is about a child's aggressive behavior. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show.
I want to share a fun story with you. There was a fish once, and this fish was a seeker. He was seeking something, so it swam all over the ocean, looking under the caves, looking high above. It even swim out of the water, jump out, see what that was like. It was constantly looking for this one thing. It could never find it. It saw it and never could find what it was looking for. And guess what it was looking for? Water. We are like that. They may sound silly. Why would the fish be looking for water? But we're very much like that. Many of the people viewing this show are going to be seekers. We like to grow, we like to learn, we like to seek. And we're like that. We seek, well, maybe if I get this degree, I'll be happy. Maybe if I'll meet my soulmate, everything will be great. Maybe if I know the wisdom of the ages, everything will go fine. We're constantly looking here and looking there for that elusive happiness, like the fish looking for water that's all around us. But why can't we find it when it's everywhere? And what am I saying? What do I mean it's everywhere? How could what we're looking for as seekers, it be everywhere? Because really what we're looking for at the core is peace, is happiness, is just enjoying our journey here. And the best way, the most wonderful way to find that is to do two very simple things. The first thing is shut this thing off. Have it be quiet. I mean, it's always going to be talking, but just put it to the side. Have it not say, I like, I don't like, I wish it was different. It's seeking. It's always looking for something else. And instead it's say, what's here right now? Who am I with? What could I engage with? What could I be with right here, right now? Because all around us is the water of life. And all we have to do is stop and see it and be with it. Because when we are 100% present in the moment, right here, right now, all is well. Life can be beautiful even with pain. Because there is a saying I love to say, there's always something beautiful you can be with. And you can really only focus on one thing at a time. So even if you're in a hospital bed right now, watching us on TV, you could listen outside to the window, to the air blowing through the trees. You could engage with a friend. You could read a good book, even if your body's in pain, because people do that. Or if you're out of work, you can say, I want to go for a walk. Or if you're at work, you can say, I'm going to just focus on my job here and not worry about what people think. It's that always, if you lose the egoic talk, that egoic commentary, good, bad, and say, this is what is. I'm going to learn to not only accept what is, I'm going to work towards loving with what is. And then you'll be the fish who isn't looking for water, but you'll be the fish who's loving the water. Peace.
Our first question this week is from Val in Park City, Utah. I just had surgery and was wondering if there were specific foods that would heal my body and speed up the recovery process.
Val, I'm a big proponent of eating raw, healthy fruits and vegetables. I think they're really good for you. They keep you healthy, they keep you fit, and they're the best way to make sure that your body, whether it's surgery, whether it's illness, whether exposure to flu, viruses, it really just helps your body stay in a very healthy, toned way so that if there is any form of change in your body, it can be immediately affected in a positive way for healing and health. I once had surgery, it was several years ago, and I was up and about within about a day because my body just heals very quickly. So I think the biggest thing about it is have a variety of fruits and vegetables that are live, not cooked, so that when you are going through surgery or recovering from surgery, your body has all these minerals, all these enzymes, all these wonderful trace nutrients going to that part of your body and healing it and fixing it. Because if you have dead food going into you, food that's been cooked over 118 degrees, there's nothing there to heal. The healing comes from having the fruits and vegetables that are full of vitamins and minerals that can really affect and impact your body in a healthy way. And the good thing about that is, it's not just when you're sick. It's not just when you're having surgery, but it's across the board. It's very preventative. I use an example. I've only missed one day of work in the last 25 years. And I think when you have a really healthy intake of food, what happens is your body is prepared for anything.
I also want to note that it's important to acknowledge what type of surgery you have just had. I don't know whether it's something in your stomach, something in your jaw. I have no idea what the type of surgery is. So we do want to make sure that you talk to your healthcare practitioner, your doctor, whoever was the surgeon for you, in regards to what's safe for you to eat. But definitely, I think it's safe to say, if you want to heal, try to avoid fast food, food that's junk food. That's not going to be good for you. We know that food that is, organic or just raw, if you could do that, that's the best thing, of course. And like I said, safe to say, stay away from the fast food, the junk food, stay away from that stuff, but talk to your doctor, because sometimes when we have certain surgeries, we have to be careful in regards to the amount of fat that we have in our diet, or in regards to the roughage that we have, meaning like if you think of broccoli, that's really rough, it goes in your system, and we need that because it helps, flush things out in there, it gives it kind of bulk to it. But if you just had a surgery on a certain area of your body, you may need more fluid, more soft foods. So really talk to your doctor about that, but stay away from the junk food.
I want your thoughts on this, because you did keep referring him to his doctor, and I think that's wonderful. But sometimes I wonder how well some doctors are trained on prevention and getting a person well. I think they're really trained well on fixing things, but they're not always trained well on how to make you healthy and keep you healthy.
That's very true. And I think talking to maybe a holistic health practitioner, a nutritionist who's familiar with kind of what's going on with you. So I think the main thing that I'm saying in regards to your surgeon is what not to eat, because that's going to be important.
Right.
And what to eat, there's people like holistic health practitioners and nutritionists, like I mentioned, that will be really, really good assets for you with that. So thanks for that clarification. Thank you, and we wish you all the best.
Not feeling the way you want to feel, isolated, worried, frustrated, or is your child struggling? There are lots of labels. Our body is a system. It can affect our feelings. Sometimes you need a little help to understand what is happening, to make a plan for improvement, to take control of your body and mind. Insightful Minds, Psychiatry for Children, Adults, and Families. Call us for an appointment or go to insightfulminds.org.
There are hundreds of interventions that claim to help children with autism around the world, but only one is proven to be effective. Pacific Child provides state-of-the-art and evidence-based techniques known as applied behavior analysis. Pacific Child is a leading ABA agency providing services to children and adults with autism. Our high-quality team approaches their work with dedication, caring, and respect. Pacific Child, making a world of difference.
Our guest today is Sifu Matthew Carver. He's a classically trained Tai Chi and Qigong teacher and the co-founder of Phoenix Healing Arts in Lake Forest, California. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So can you talk to us about Phoenix Healing Arts and how it is I got the chance to visit there, and it's this wonderful, amazing addiction recovery and then some place. So can you talk to us about the program, how you started it, and what it is?
Yeah, well, it started probably about 2 years ago. I had originally started working in a lot of treatment centers locally in Southern California. And what I started to realize is a lot of the treatment centers, they're really great at getting people sober for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, but the aftercare after that sort of faltered. And I taught at a lot of these treatment centers doing meditation and Tai Chi and Qigong. And what I noticed is a lot of the students would leave there and start doing classes with me. So over time, we sort of created this program. I a standalone program where they can come and start learning some of these Eastern modalities that we do, meditation, Tai Chi, but also combine it with traditional addiction recovery and psychotherapy.
It's kind of like an East meets West type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is so wonderful, because we so often talk in the show about how important it is to still your mind, and how that's such a huge piece of everything, and finding these healthy ways to deal with your anxieties and your stress and just everyday life stuff. Because like you said, going into a recovery place, they help you for this amount of time, and their motivation to do it is wonderful and amazing. But I think what you offer is such an amazing tool. So thank you for doing that. So when I introduced you, I said Sifu Matthew Carver. Can you talk to us about what Sifu means?
Oh yeah, Sifu is a Chinese term. Loosely it translates, it means father teacher. In the old days in martial arts communities, it was always within the family. Your father taught you, or your brother taught you, or so the term Sifu came to mean like your dad, because he was the guy teaching you the family art. So that sort of trickled down to today. Instead of belt ranks and that sort of thing, the word Sifu's
It seems
used.
like it kind of gives you a pretty close connection with the people that you work with, like having a title like that.
Yeah, it's more like a family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like the word sensei, for instance, is a Japanese word. It means more like a master. Where Sifu, the connotation is more of someone who's a little bit further on a path than you are, and they can point out some of the stumbling blocks along the way, but they're not there to
So you
be the
point,
master.
yeah.
Of you.
So stumbling blocks. Can you mention kind of what maybe some of the stumbling blocks are that you often see with the people that you work with?
Oh, a lot of times they come in with this sort of heavy amounts of stress. They sort of identify addiction as the problem, where we kind of look at the addiction's not really the problem. It's sort of your solution. It's not a very good solution. It's a high cost solution for something. So we try to get down to the more basic fundamental issues.
Trying to understand what's causing it in the first place.
Exactly.
Causing you to go to that.
Yep. And the only way to do that successfully, I think, is through meditation and practicing being with your thoughts and with your own mind.
Which we so often don't want to do, huh? We're really scared of
Yeah,
that.
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a scary place.
Yeah, it can be a very scary place.
Yeah.
Well, when Dr. Puff and I went to visit your facility, or actually I shouldn't call it a facility because it's way better than a facility, it's just a really warm place. You were talking about a class that you offer that, it's mindfulness and really kind of being present with your cravings. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we have a class where the participant is sort of triggered, right? We'll start talking about their addiction and some of their old habits, some of the things that trigger the impulses, which a lot of time it could be music, it could be a place that they associate with using, people they associate with using. So we'll kind of trigger that and then sort of sit with the feelings instead of acting on them. Oftentimes the problem is they're acting on these impulse emotions, and that's where the trouble begins. If you sort of did nothing, in a sense, it passes after a while.
And I think being able to sit through that and being able to focus on that and sit through that kind of gives them a real tool when they go out in the real world and say, okay, here I am. I'm having this really real craving right now. I can get through this. I know that I've been through this and I can get through this, especially if I'm kind of still and I focus my mind, I can get through it.
Yeah, the emotion will pass. The root word of the Latin word for emotion means moving out.
Oh, I didn't know
So it's
that.
not there to permanently stay.
That is a really good point. I'm going to use that with people I work with.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it does. The root words move out.
But we so often try to keep it in, right?
Yeah.
We try to not deal with it, and that's what causes all these problems in the first place, don't you think?
And you think it'll never end. Like, oh my God, I'm going to feel this way forever. Yeah, it's like you won't feel good forever and you won't feel bad forever. It's fluctuating.
Now, how does your training in Tai Chi and Qigong fit into this recovery model that you've created?
The Tai Chi and the Qigong is just one component of it. Tai Chi is basically designed to deal with stress and anxiety, which are two of the big stumbling blocks for someone who's just starting out on a path towards sobriety. We also add psychotherapy and Reiki and acupuncture and other modalities too. It depends, each client is different, so we sort of structure it differently each time.
And how do you think all of those things piece together to really help a person?
I think it kind of comes at at the issue from all angles. There's a physical component, which we deal with yoga and some of the personal training and things like that. There's the psychological component, which we deal with traditional psychotherapy, addiction counseling. And then there's the spiritual component, which is huge. So the Tai Chi, meditation, that all kind of blends in together like that, those three pieces.
Yeah, I love it. What a wonderful mix of things for people. And it sounds like, each person can come in and say, well, I like this more and this is helping me more.
Exactly.
And I understand that for you, it's not just like a one-time process, somebody comes in for 30 days. Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it becomes more like a family. After their first 3 months of sort of intensive treatment, we move into the next phase, which extends for a year or 2 years after that point, which is sort of like the aftercare part of it. A lot of times you get to a certain point, 30 days into treatment, and it's over with, and you're sort of left to your own devices. So it seems to me at that point is really where you need to start learning how to use some of these tools that you're being given. So it takes at least a year or two to get used to that.
And there are no beds in your facility either.
No, we sleep standing up.
You sleep standing up. So it's an outpatient program, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I know we talked a little bit about. For the tools that you're giving them, they actually are able to go out and use them on
Right away.
everyday life.
Yeah.
Which is a really good thing.
Yeah, a lot of centers have an inpatient component where you sleep there, but we decided it's much better to have it where you come in, you do your work, and then go apply it.
And I think it's really nice for people to have that option. They can choose, okay, I feel like I want this, or I feel like this is better for me, and I think that that's a really great thing. So who would you say is the ideal person to come to you? Like somebody's watching out there and they're saying, well, I don't know, maybe, or I know somebody. Who would be an ideal person to come to you?
We get a lot of people in the sort of, I call them, it's pre-addiction. So it's very early on in addiction to sort of come in and right the ship before things get incredibly bad. I also deal with a lot of people that have already been to an inpatient facility or a hospital facility and are coming as sort of a phase 2 as part of their program. And I've also dealt with people who are coming in just as their initial phase of treatment. So.
And why would you say that addiction is such a huge problem within our society right now?
I think a lot of it has to do with immediate gratification and stress.
We have a lot of that, don't we?
Yeah, just I want it now and I don't want to wait. Where a lot of Eastern philosophies and paths, patience is sort of the first thing that you learn. Because you didn't get sick right away, so you're not going to necessarily get well right away. It's going to be a process.
Yes. If people would like to find out more about Phoenix Healing Arts and how to heal in a holistic way, what's the best way for them to get more information?
They can go on the web. It's phoenixhealingarts.org.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on our show and sharing your wisdom.
Thanks so much for having me.
Clonia cava. This superfood from the ocean antioxidant force is much greater than anything grown on land. Humic nutrients. Considered the essence of life, it's what helps plants grow naturally, has been shown to have incredible potential immune-enhancing properties. Aloe vera has been used for health and medicinal purposes. With 75 nutritional components, this unique lily plant is one of the most efficient delivery systems of nutrients into the bloodstream.
Are you or someone you love struggling with depression, anger, or anxiety? Have you suffered a loss? Or are you struggling to keep your relationship alive? Do you have a child or a teen who needs help? You don't have to face it alone. We are here to help you create the change you need in your life to be happy again. Visit us at www.ocmentalhealthexperts.com for more information.
Stem cells play a vital role in our body's ability to heal, but become less effective as we get older. StemKine is a daily supplement that has been clinically proven to increase stem cell circulation. Research has shown that circulating stem cells boost our ability to prevent or recover from injury, disease, or chronic conditions. Your stem cells can help you repair, restore, and regenerate. StemKine is an all-natural supplement proven to enhance your stem cells' activity and thereby improve your health.
Years ago, I knew these 4 sisters. They grew up in the same home. They were about a year apart in age. Everything about their lives was pretty much the same. They both all 4 married. They ate the same sort of food. They lived in the same communities. They all had children. Their lives were very similar, but 2 of them lived to be 100, and 2 of them died at 80. and that was about the exact age at which they each died. The ones that lived to be 100 were very healthy to the very end, in their mind, in their physical bodies. The ones that lived to be 80 weren't. They actually had health problems up to the point that when they died in the 80s, early 80s. But there was a difference. Besides everything else being the same genes, same background, same environment, the one thing that happened is the two that lived to be 80 smoked, and the two that lived to be 100 didn't. And our show is about prevention. And what we're here to teach is, how do I prevent myself from getting illness, and how do I stay fit? Because I think so often we think, well, I'll treat it when we have the problem, where really the treatment, the best treatment, is prevention. Because if you don't take time to be well, you have to take time to be sick. And we want us to all be healthy. And throughout our lives, we can be. I mean, we're all going to have setbacks, or we may have setbacks. But the beautiful thing about prevention and taking care of yourself is when you do have an illness or a surgery or something that requires recovery, you will find that the recovery time is much more quick and you'll get well fast. And that's the beauty of prevention. Doing things like meditating, exercising, eating well and healthy, going for walks, just a variety of things, being in healthy relationships, watching sunsets. All these things combined help you to be healthy and stay healthy. They're preventative. And the beautiful thing about preventative is, as that example I started off with, we do have genetics, and of course they impact us, but very little. I'd say anywhere from 5 to 20% we can't really change. Like if your family has heart disease, you have to be more careful. But you being healthy, making good choices, keeps you healthy. Heart disease actually runs pretty strong in my family, and my grandfather and two of my uncles died actually at my age. When they were my age, they were dead, and obviously I'm not dead yet, and I'm very healthy, but I have lived a completely different life than they had. And prevention is a very important part of being holistically healthy and holistically successful. So if I can keep encouraging you, learn about it, expose yourself to it, read books, make small changes. That 5% rule I always like to talk about. Take 5% of the time and make little changes in your life, and they will accumulate into vast, wonderful changes that you can keep throughout your life. Be healthy, be fit, be well. Peace.
Our second question is from Bella in Rome, Italy. My 4-year-old son has started to push and hit other kids, and I can't get him to stop. Why do you suppose he's acting this way?
Bella, there's a couple concerns that I would have. If there's a pretty dramatic change in his behavior, probably something is changed in his life. One could be, again, a new baby's been born and he's angry, you're going through a divorce, he's upset at someone at school, someone's teasing him and he's acting out by lashing back out. So that I would look into that first and say, okay, what's changed? And as a parent, you should be able to figure that out. And if there is a change, he probably needs help to deal with that change and find appropriate ways to express his aggression and his anger. But the other thing I think you have to be careful of is, particularly if it's a sudden change, is he perhaps now watching a different form of entertainment? Entertainment can be very healthy, it can be very good for our kids. It can also be very violent and very destructive for our children. If he's exposed to violence on television, on the movies, on the computer, or on games, that is going to impact his behavior. So it's really exploring those two things. There's many other things that can be involved. But I think the modeling, what is he being modeled, and is there something in his life that's different? As a parent, you should know that, and if you don't know that, then I'd really, do some investigation and saying, what's happening at his school, what's happening with his friends, is there something different that's occurring? And that will help you get to the cure of what he needs to change.
Yeah, Bella, children can act out in a lot of different ways when they're feeling hurt, they're upset, they're angry, they have stuff going on. And Dr. Puff had mentioned a plethora of things that could be going on. Perhaps you and your husband are having some problems that will definitely affect your son, because it's really hard. How is he supposed to express his feelings? That's one of the ways that it's going to come out. I encourage you to look at what's going on at home, like Dr. Puff had said, as well as with school. And you may not even know. He may be going to his friends' houses and they may have video games. A lot of video games are violent. Even the cutesy ones can be, they're killing each other and battling these things, and there's wrestling, there's all kinds of things that they're exposed to, and this affects them. So I think it's important for you to acknowledge that and set the boundaries and talk to other parents and say, hey, what kind of video games do you have? May I see that? And then maybe you decide, okay, I'm going to have my child come with his friends over to our house instead. Really look at what's going on in his life, though. I think Dr. Puff gave some really, really good pointers. Look at that first, and then kind of expand and explore what are some other things, external things that could be going on with him.
Now, what she didn't ask, what do we do about it? What do you think she should do about it? How does she help her son when he gets angry? Should she get angry back at him? What do you think?
We have a book actually that we wrote called Raising Healthy Children and Teenagers that we really encourage you to take a look at. And we also have another book, Anger Work, How to Express Your Anger and Still Be Kind. And some of the things that we talk about in there are healthy ways to express your anger. It could be screaming into a pillow, getting him involved with a sport, maybe it's baseball, or doing something.
I'm not screaming back at him when he screams, right?
That's true too. Really be careful what you're modeling at him. I remember working with a family before, and the child would scream and yell and throw things, and I said to the parent, well, what do you do when you're angry? And it was the look of like, oh, I do all of those things. So
I remember you telling me
have
that.
awareness about that. Really take a look at what you guys are doing too. Thank you so much for your question.
Co-hosts of the Holistic Success Show, Dr. Puff and Elizabeth Lozano, MA, want to teach you how to live a meditative life. Learn to still your mind, diminish negative thinking, experience peace and bliss, and be 100% present in the moment. Retreats provide a unique opportunity to learn new skills, meet new people, and interact with Elizabeth Lozano and Dr. Puff. For information or reservations for upcoming retreats, please visit holisticretreats.tv. Expand your capacity for joyful living today.
Tranquility and peace. Find freedom and relaxation no matter where you are or who you're with. Be still, be free. Meditation for Health and Happiness, available at www.holistichealth.tv.
Our quote today is short and sweet but very powerful, and it's by Gertrude Elion. Nothing is impossible. I will repeat that again. Nothing is impossible. Take that with you and remember that always. Thank you for joining us on the Holistic Success Show. If you'd like to watch some of our previous episodes, please visit our website or iTunes.
And if you have a company or association would like to learn about sponsorship opportunities, please visit our website.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a beautiful week.